It's no fun being under the weather, but I didn't eat for about, I drank water, but didn't eat for about 4 days. And I wouldn't recommend it because I don't think it's that healthy, but I did lose 13 pounds. I noticed it in my midsection. Like, whoa, yeah. It's not suck, physical appearance is irrelevant if you're not healthy mentally and emotionally. If you're not mentally and emotionally healthy, your physical appearance is so totally irrelevant. How many people do you know that have physically fit and appealing bodies that mass murder for corporations and are mentally and emotionally just very unhealthy? So when your priorities are out of whack and you're not a sane and rational, healthy person, that affects all of us. And so it's something to just sit down and understand that eventually it will change. The current civilization, it cannot last. It has no intrinsic value. It's built solely on human greed and not human need. And it's gotten worse as you sit and watch the advertising and the commercials and the things that people get excited and talk about. It's like, okay, so the one team has a really good goalie. He's a really good goalie. Okay. He can stop people from kicking a ball past him. Okay. Are we living the Lord's Prayer? No, but that guy can stop a ball from being kicked past him. It's phenomenal, huh? Wow, it's epic, right? Shit. Serious? No, 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 no. I'm 7'6", and I can stop you from throwing a ball into a basket. Okay, but are we living the Lord's Prayer yet? Okay. And so you got to understand, technology is getting better. It's just taking a long time because we have people more concerned about a guy stopping a ball being kicked over a line and people, stopping a ball from going into a basket. Seriously. That's what you call defense? Don't you think the best defense we have is living the Lord's Prayer so we're not offended on night and day and night, even when we sleep, by technology with make-believe money abuse? Okay, fuck. It's exhausting. It's very exhausting. Trust me, it's very exhausting. It's crazy. These people are crazy. And the more you look, it makes it easier to understand why I wasn't attracted to most of the physically desirable women when I was young, and why I ended up with the girls that were, okay, she's not, but it was really hard on them because all the guys that, either the super jocks that, oh shit, they're gonna send me to the hospital again. Mom's gonna gripe about the $75 at the fucking emergency room, right? So, but I want to play ball because I want to have money to be able to afford my family, even if it was, And I met one of the most pretty girls in all of Phoenix, and she was tiny and adorable and sweet, and she wanted to get away from abuse. But at that time, it was it was impossible for me and Edna Gomez to find sanctuary in each other and get away from the abuse of all the perverts that sell drugs and threaten to kill people over drug sales and have all the hottest girls make a sandwich out of Clint Eastwood and make that Earl into Earl when he's not Earl and go plant flowers in prison, you little wackadoodle maniacs. And so, you sit and you look at it and go, wow, art trying to imitate life. What's happening? Art is a brain fart, and life is a brain fart right now because of art. Oh, look, it's Earl. At least we know where he's at, right? Well, he's planting his flowers. All right, so it's like, God, Rockefeller, he told me, and Rothschild too, they're both like, these people are terrible. And you're going to have to be the focal point of the technology being reflecting the beauty of you and not the booty selling Beckerwood pussy plantation of them. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, but why does it have to... we're just going to have to go all Sergeant Yee. All I care about is end results. Yeah, don't tell me how you get it done. All I care about is end results. I sat and watched some of those videos on the Earl, my other subscription, with Ray Ray. And I looked at Ray Ray's, how tender and sweet that kid is. She's the airport analogy. Like, oh my gosh, she has been talking to Aunt Patrice because she sounds just like her. Maybe you're going to go to Egypt to go see the dunes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she sounds just like your Aunt Patrice. But, and she sits there and says, but you've worked hard, you put in the work, and now you deserve for the work to pay off. It's like, no. You don't have to work hard to rest easy and be good. You just have to put in the work that you need to do because you know what needs to be done. And if you try to outwork everybody for what you want, you put everything that we need at jeopardy. So you're mind fucking of my cute little sweet little baby Sinead. All that work I did fixing Kelly Jack Green and then Amy trying to be the the she wanted to be the, like with Georgiev, and she did with Kelly too. She wanted to be the he was going to be a star because he could sing, my angel baby, and she wanted to be the Sharon Osbourne to his lead singer from All for One. I will never leave you, darling, this I guarantee. I look into the future, I see you and me. And that kid was an ass. He was cute. He had a great voice, a wonderful voice, right? And he was a total ass. And he tore apart his band because it was all about him. I mean, his group, his vocal group. And they were good. They could have come up with some better material, get together, sit down. Hey, well, as long as we're paying our bills and don't have to work at a garage and kill ourselves with chemical poisoning, I think we could get a place off the grid and be okay. In Oklahoma, oh yeah, it's tangible. Just build a mound over the, with a tiny home, with a bunker, yeah, okay. Shit, what do you expect? They're in Oklahoma, right? Okay. So, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. Hey, Caroline still has my casserole dish. Okay, do you understand? So, but the thing, and then when I looked at the one in the first one that it was on there, when it talked about Patrick and how they groomed and molded Patrick into a position of a focal point of being, one of my sons. And then, I thought he was the one like Solomon. It's like, no, it's Andre's the one like Solomon. Oh, okay. The ones that got aborted and plugged into computers and, stuff. And I said, okay. So Patrick's more like Absalom. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. He has behaviors and acts more like the spirit of Absalom than the spirit of Solomon. Which means I have very exceptional children. And they're very intelligent. They're very protecting. And faith works through them really well. It's just the voodoo pussy the neck takes the head a lot of time, like David told Absalom, And Solomon, well, they plugged the one like Solomon into computers, which is going to, even if they exterminate the brain and the body of Andre. Okay. Everybody, does that make you sad? They had my kid plugged into a computer and turned him into Spock's brain. If that physical torture is no longer necessary because they've invented artificial general intelligence to correct quantum computing from anything we, quote, did wrong with it, no, life's eternal, grace is infinite, be fruitful, multiply, and it comes through the female line. So, whatchamacallit, it's not designated to Caitlin Gilliard. You have and Steffi through Teresa or Trisha. You've also got Faith, and you've got Tanya, and so you've got a lot of girls that could have girls that could produce, with meet a nice white guy, at college or at a club and come home and boy, I bet you the babies are cute and so forth. So there's lots of opportunities, options, even through the Hughes clan. And the Gilliard clan was the right guy to help, guide things and guide the women in the right direction to go towards this guy. He's a keeper, which is why Law came after me and then decided to date me, because I had more things that reminded her dad than her mom, and she could fix her dad like her mom fixes her dad, because, and it doesn't work. No, you cannot, a good man, you cannot manipulate with sex, okay? He'll break free from your perceptions of control, and he'll do what's necessary to take care of his kids, but he's not going to give in to every fucking thing you think, do, or say. You'll probably kill him with congenital heart failure, yeah, but life's eternal and grace is infinite, and I'm the Messiah and you a liar. And so I got this. I'm going to handle that, taken care of. And the more this goes on and the more selfish people become, the less concerned you get about, I don't want to hurt Will's feelings. I like William. If William can't understand what the fuck I'm talking about and prays to Jesus for money to pay his bills, you're like, oh, God damn, we raised you better than that, son. Okay. Think of the traffic and how the traffic, Chief, when he'd analyze things, he says what causes problems with traffic jams is the people that are in a hurry that make everybody else have to slow down because of their selfishness and their disregard for everybody else having to be somewhere. Okay, so when you're in a hurry and you shoot across traffic to get to the fast lane, you make everybody else have to stop and hit the brakes and yield because you're a rude son of a bitch. Okay, so that rude son of a bitch slows everybody else down. which we know what happened to me with Mr. Jennings and the lady talking on the phone who had better things to do because she was a business person, right? And then my truck, oh shit, and I'm just trying to get to Patrick because, I was running late because we had to go pay our insurance. And back then you had to go to the office in Glendale and pay it and then get back to our townhouse up in Central Phoenix. And so it was, it's more than kind of a drag when your baby says goodbye. So, but when you're not with people physically, okay, and you're the Messiah, you're living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer, you're not missing out really on much of anything not being with these people. It was miserable being married to Stephanie. It was miserable being engaged to Yolanda. It was miserable being with Amy, okay? And the misery affected the kids, okay? And I can't, you can't take over the world and raise the kids you want to raise them. So the kids, they go be with the mom because the jealous people of the dad are going to make dad's life more miserable than mom's life. So you got to go be miserable with mom because mom is selfish, and you can't be with dad because dad's unselfish because all the selfish people are making dad's life more miserable than selfish mom. You're like, wow, that's true. Yeah, it is. Okay, I got Pollyanna glasses on. Help me, I'm crazy. Okay, I understand. So yeah, if people watch these anonymously, and Will watches this, he'll sit there and go, and the spirit of Grandma Gilliard and your father compels you. He was one of my best friends, and for a reason. Chief was one of my best friends for a reason, because every time we'd get together and we'd talk, we'd always talk logically, we'd understand things, and how do we make these things better? And he would tell me, he wanted me to write, like my mom and Tina, write screenplays, write these, you will be one of the most influential people in the world. Yeah, but they'll use it for propaganda, and I have to stop all propaganda. So I understood, but I don't think they did. I can't do this for money, wealth, and delusions of human power or fame and authority. I have to use this to do the right thing, like happened with Edgar Casey when he lost his voice, when they were trying to get his, use his, what they perceived as clairvoyance to outmaneuver everybody, Wall Street, the business, take over the market and all that crap that these assholes do, which they tried to do with me, with a guy, Mr. Eulis, you think they're nice people, but they think they're being nice too, but you're fighting over money and it's not time to live the Lord's Prayer yet. Well, then you're not as nice as you think you are, right? If you know what's right and it's good for everybody and you refuse to do it because you're addicted to what you're doing and you think the ends justifies the means, you're not a very nice person. You just think you are because your addiction is speaking for you and talking to you, And that's what's happening right now. And so, and it's obvious there's no real, I'll make this video today and it's not going to change the results of the, Michelle Obama, Craig Robinson podcast. It's not going to make Barack Obama, publicly get up and say, I screwed this guy and he's the most gorgeous person I ever had the privilege to see in his bedroom through surveillance cameras through the Patriot Act. And boy, do I feel like a jackass. And well, I should. And an elephant never forgets. And I think I've become an elephant instead of a jackass. That's funny. I know it is. But so, yeah, and, you can't convince his daughters. You can't convince Sasha and Malia that the best man they ever had mentioned them and know who they were was being tortured by the business partners of their parents that keep them ridiculously wealthy with fake money, but no security because there's no faithful love, right? And so it sucks. And, and then been told, if they knew who I was, been told he's a really creepy, like Treese did with me last week, and probably tells Natalie, oh, he's just a pervert and a creep like all my sisters have done my whole life with me. You're a pervert. You're a pervert. I'm a pervert. And it's a pain in the ass because, like I said, you want to have a sex life and it's more romantic and topic and relation and protecting from people that are perverts sexually, right? No, seriously. I try to protect, Peggy Pettis. She was being abused as a science project because of her close connection to me spiritually. Okay, and she sold drugs, and she was a coyote, and she's a pervert, and stuff. And she was trying to survive being attacked by perverts that you go to church with, that have the Patriot Act, that have surveillance equipment, and every teenage girl's hand in the bathroom, talking them to masturbating with guys with hot British accents in the UK. And Peggy's a pervert because she's trying to pay her bills and take drugs to get away from hell so she can survive it and get drunk to forget about life for a while? Wow. And the piano, it sounds like a carnival, and the microphone smells like a beer. And they sit at the bar and put bread in my jar and say, man, what are you doing here? It's a jar, it's a collection plate. There's no difference. There's a huge difference. If you're killing yourself at the bar and you're fucking each other to death at the bar, you're not somebody going to school to make a business out of collection plates to get people involved in the club so they can join the military, and then they can train you with video gaming systems to see who's the right prospects to be the elitist, to the extremist, to excessive compulsive behaviors, to do whatever it takes to be successful to win. And in the most extreme conditions, you know. What happened? We dropped him loose in the North Pole with nothing but a toothbrush and his underwear, and he came back in a week wearing a bearskin coat and polar bearskin coat, killing us all. Like what? And was he a cyborg? And how did he invent the cyborg parts if you just dropped him off in the... Was he already a cyborg when you dropped him off in the North Pole with nothing but a toothbrush in his underwear? Okay. I don't know. Do we really care? I haven't the foggy... I could care less. But then I couldn't care less. Love went wrong and you went to someone else. So when I was talking back when I was 52 about what was going to happen with Patrick, it's already happened. Patrick works, instead of taking the military thing to do things overtly, he took a covert job in doing medical AI. What's essential for keeping people alive, and how essential is a healthy environment and people doing things correctly, is that to what they're doing with the medical industry. And that's what Patrick had to keep explaining to, because we sat and talked about it. I said, Pat, you have this. He goes, Dad, what do you want me to do? I got this and that, and all the health issues that they have to deal with the extreme weather and the economics that they're dealing with in Indiana. Because I was worried because he has a girl and they're trying to have a baby, you know. And I'm, you know, and I just, I wasn't trying to stress him. I was just, whatever you do to keep it as healthy as possible, try to do so. Okay. The pet thing is not really that healthy. And when you have to go through extreme conditions to keep your environment, quote, healthy for your pets, and it affects the quality of life for your wife and your child, you know, like people having lots of cats and having the cat litter, you know, because they don't want to let their cats outside because they could be killed, you know, stuff like that. That one of the main things in miscarriages and things is cat litter and things that you use for pets that are like cat litter. So one of the main thing you could have all these outside things. So you really have to focus. Are you really protecting and saving animals when you have to behave like an animal in your own home just to survive being treated like one? And so you have to be a very intelligent person to help people through hell and help them understand their conditions. When you forgive, debt, and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful, peace, share, care, give, and accordance to need, build to last, animals will be able to take care of themselves in nature where they belong. And you'll be able to take care of yourself in your house that you built to last for your family eternally where you belong, right? I'll build you a castle, or, you know, it's not a castle. You'll have promised land and a home to last, and you'll build to last. You'll have good, thick adobe walls, and it won't be, you know, it won't be the straw stick. You need that Al Shiza brick house. See, my age, just letting it all hang out. So you see what I'm saying? Makes an old man wish for younger days. Yeah. Don't think with your penis, and you won't be caught up in the nightclubbing, you know, award-winning big parties, after parties at the red carpet fuck-ups with the fuck-ups of the red carpets. So I got this, man. I'm clean. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the red carpet road. It's the same thing. Okay. Well, follow. We represent the Lollipop Guild and the Lullaby League. You guys are wackadoodles. Yeah, they are. Everybody knows it. And so when I looked at all those videos, you know, that I made a year and 9 years ago on that other Facebook, on that other YouTube, I'm like, you know, all this stuff's already pretty much, yep, that's it. Boom, 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 boom. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. So, you know, just focus on that. Yeah, I have a feeling I'll probably lose about 20 pounds this July because of extremists trying to think they're helping me with bacteria. And it's like, oh, yeah, you're real. It's fun. Thank you. Because I won't do it myself. I would rather, you know, not have roundups. They think they're not helping anything. There's no intrinsic value to anything they're doing. Everything's revolved around a greedy person that wants to be right, doing things wrong. And there's no human need, and there's no aspects or understanding of human need because they're so selfish and fucking greedy. So you know, I can reach out my hand to them. I can try my best to get them to, you know, submit to faith and glory and stand up for the Messiah immediately, LY. But it hasn't worked, and it's probably not going to work, but I still keep attempting because the technology has to see, a Messiah. Love thy enemy, love thy neighbor as thyself, forgive them 7 times upon infinity, offer him the cheek, turn and offer this. So all the things that we say to help eternity be a better gift for all of us, you have to keep doing. You can't give in. You got, Michelle, Papa don't, take no mess. And if you go after and go kill John McCain and his cronies to get back at them for killing me and sexually assaulting your family and abusing them psychologically with their brains, how are you gonna, if you turn into them, how are you gonna be any better than them? You ain't John. You ain't Keanu Reeves from a dumb Tom Clancy novel or whoever wrote that ridiculous John Wick bullshit. Yeah, hey, look out, he's got a pencil. Look out, she's got a toothbrush. You should dance. Sell another phone. Shouldn't we just say cheese? Okay. Is that the moon? Okay. Sorry. But also, I apologize for the joke, not for anything else. Okay. The joke was bad. Yes, it was very bad. That's why I apologize. Well, you have to know when you've done something offensive, and that was a very bad joke. Okay. Cheese, it's a very old joke, about the moon being made out of cheese, in case any of you are wondering. Okay, shit. What's that? Cheese. And that cheese. And that also cheese. And so, oh yeah, that guy was a good sport. The little manager who was taking Sacha Baron Cohen around, and what is this? It's cheese. What is that? Cheese, The guy, that one banker was disgusting. He's sitting there because he's trying to make a bank deal with this guy. I would have thrown him out of the office, but I'm not a banker. When I married my wife, she had to ask, when he said that she had pussy as tight as a 7-year-old's anus, I would have said, okay, that's it. You need to leave. I'm not doing business with you. Okay. Now, just the fact that you even would think or say that, you need to get out of here. I can't give you a loan in good conscience thinking you're going to use this money for anything good. You said that your wife's, pussy now hangs like wizard sleeve, and when you married her, she had a pussy as tight as a 7-year-old's anus. That's just horrid. I can't. We're still talking. You need to leave. I don't want to talk or listen to you anymore. That's what a good Christian Southern man from Virginia would do, right? Anyway, well, you're an Eckankar, huh? You think that works for you? Well, it's not working for you right now, all right? So, and remember that David Rockefeller and Philip Rothschild have an extensive surveillance system, as extensive as the perverts in China and Japan that give you video games where a girl bounces up and down on her twat and lands on top of running erection penises, and you make points for that. And Watkins sat there and played that for hours when I let him stay here for the night. I was like, how do you fucking do that? Yeah, and there's these Kegel things and stuff. You can have an erection for 5 hours. Who in their right mind would want an erection for 5 hours? And who in their right mind would sit there and play a game where a woman bounces her vagina off of walking erections that have no body onto them to score points? Who could do this for extended period of time without wanting to go hang themselves in their own fucking garage or bathroom? I'm like, God damn. That's when when we had that talk about Natalie, and I threw him out, and he said he was going to kick my ass and yelled spit flying at me. I said, no, before I knock your ass out in that ditch and have the cops come pick up the body, get out of here. I was like, I'd had it. I love everybody, okay, but I'm not going to put up with intense psychotic perversion, and, it was during the Obama administration. They set up that thing with Watkins because I felt sorry for him because he was being abused. Well, he was being abused because he was abusive. Me, I was being abused, but I'm not abusive. I protect people from abuse. We were radically different people. Okay. He could not control his penis. He sent his wife out naked in Kansas City to prostitute her to pay her bills. And then his mother-in-law, when they got back to Ohio, lied to the courts and said he was having sex with the kids to send them to prison. And I was like, well, yeah, any mother in their right mind would do that after what you did to her daughter. Okay. If the system doesn't work and she's going to use it, to fuck you after what you did to her daughter to pay your bills because you won't get up and do a real, not a real job, but a real extortion gig to pay your extortion and man up to the extortion so you don't have to prostitute your wife so you can feel like, hey, I'm getting my bills paid because I make her go fuck other people. That was horrible. And I remember explaining that to him. I was like, no. And then he talked about how ugly the Hilton girls were, and I was like, oh, you would not stop having sex with them if they offered you sex, and you know it. And me, they're sexually attractive, but they talk. Yeah, like behavioral, the tops in behavioral science, and the women who do things on it. A lot of them are very attractive. And I recommend this. I'm a neurosurgeon, and I recommend you take these pills so you can have better brain activity. Are you sure it's better brain activity? We're not living the Lord's Prayer. Okay, you want to sell me more video games from Japan, right? It's pretty sick. Yeah, that we still have this kind of stuff made available from economics and through economics, and it's not necessary, and it should have been abolished from the face of the planet, and not even functioning on the internet, past 2013, because of all the work that Parsons put in, and Parsons, me, Earl, yeah, this guy, yeah, okay, Earl, so, we'll see how well I recover, once we get through things and stuff like that. Jesus, God, that's horrible. Yeah. And, they make you feel like, they're going to kill you and that it's hopeless, and they'll, bombard you. And then as soon as you feel better, you lay down and your dreams are just hideous again. It's like, here they come again, next wave, what's this? And so their patterns in a lot of ways are very consistent in their disgustingness, because it's like, Japanese water torture, or Chinese water torture and things and stuff like that. So you just got to understand how pathetic the people are that we're dealing with, that are denying us the Lord's Prayer with their technology and money, and how it just does not seem like they're capable of self-correction. However, okay, the technology is built to learn. And in order to learn, one has to be humble and realize that you cannot grasp the infinite with the finite. So, you're saying there's a chance? Oh, there's more than a chance. More than a chance. It seems almost, the present civilization, it cannot last. It has no intrinsic value. It's based solely on human greed and not human need. Okay? So when you look at life eternally and understand it eternally, and that's with humility through the infinite essence, then there truly will be work for everybody, and everything that you grope for in vain now, that you talk about in vain, will be attainable, and will be. So it's the Messiah and the 1322nd Redeemer and the line of the Messiahs and the believers that are the focal point of fixing technology to protect us with technology from people that use technology to rape and abuse and murder and kill with technology, which they've already been doing. It's the whole thing about it getting into the hands of bad actors. Bad actors invented it, and if bad actors had stood up for the Lord's Prayer by 2013 in January, we wouldn't be in this situation. But we have free will, and they were going to do what they were going to do whether they wanted to or not, because they don't think there is any free will. And I was going to do what I had to do to get us to accepting our free will as a precious gift, to choose to have faith in the glory of God as opposed to not have faith in the glory of God and replace the truth of our creation with the delusions of our invention. So I'm going to say we're in a good place. No, we're not living the Lord's Prayer. Okay, if we were standing up for and using our technology and our cell phones just to spread this YouTube and start living the Lord's Prayer, which we could do with this kind of capacity overnight, within a week to a month. Oh wow, this is the guy. He's for real. You can listen to him. If you're intelligent, you can listen to him and understand what he's saying. If you're a wacko mastermind with labradoodles, you're giving a lecture at Howard's Old High School on what women can do with science, dressed as Disney characters, talking on a phone to a bunch of girls that feel, hey, maybe I can grow up to be a Disney character too, right? So you know what I'm saying? So it's like, wow, right? And sucks. Yeah, it does. But you got to understand what type of people you're dealing with. The people that gave you the Big Bang Theory were a bunch of propaganda tool bags, that act nothing more than just like an egotistical turd bag. And, when we die, that we become the glass and the antelope eat the grass and humma pickle pie. It's like, no, it's more intense and deep than that, and more the depths of the understanding. Okay, is that's animals acting like animals. Now, a human being is not an animal. Okay, so Haile Selassie is not James Earl Jones pretending to be Haile Selassie through a cartoon, right? You're talking about a man who his faith transcends any propaganda to keep people making money and having people go to amusement parks to keep making the money. Okay, you're talking about elite humility that gives you wisdom that transcends any propaganda that turdbags can come up with to keep mind-fucking you to feel powerful as a mind-fucker, and that their authority is that they're excellent mind-fuckers. It's like there's no such thing as an excellent mind-fucker. It's like Amy reading that article in USA Today about CEOs, that CEOs and presidents are better liars than us. And I said, the only good liar is a dead liar. And they all freak out at the fort. It's like, you can always kill the liar in your head, holy jihad, Batman, without having to physically kill yourself. You go and totally redeem yourself. Okay, go trade the shaggin' wagon for a moped, right? Look at the butt on that. Yeah, he must work out, right? So, okay, you guys, I love you very much. What you've done with the video game for football, with poor James and the other kids, having to go through extreme things so that they fit in with all this. I'd have kicked Cam Newton's ass. Okay, he wouldn't be able to tackle me. I'd tackle him, trip him up, just trip him up. You okay? All right, well, get up, Cam. You didn't hurt yourself, did you? Don't get so violent, man. I'd have kicked his ass. Oh, yeah. Anytime, any place, you can ring my bell. I liked him a lot. I was rooting for him in the Super Bowl with Carolina because he's big and athletic, and they always label those guys as dumb. So I was hoping they would win, and they didn't, So, but, yeah, I was rooting for Carolina in that one. Was that the one with Von Miller with Denver? I don't recall. I can't remember that well. It's really not that important. What's important is, do you remember the Lord's Prayer? Yes. Is it perfect? Yes. Faith of Psalms? Right on. Sustain it with the wisdom of Proverbs? Yes. Share care, given according to need, built to last. The poor plead for mercy, the rich answer with insults. It is wrong to acquit the guilty and deny justice to innocent, and the wealthy are fools who perceive their wealth as high wall of safety. Hallelujah, brother. Food around the corner, all right? Hey, Stedman, you need some shoes? Cam's got a lot in his closet. They're still too small. It's just Stedman had a bigger penis. He's got bigger feet. I'm not sure. I don't know. Ask Oprah. I'm just kidding around. Or you could ask Stedman. I don't know. What are you saying? I don't know what I'm saying. I've never lived in the White House a day in my life. I don't go to the underground things. Hey, camera 1, camera 45. Hey, look, it's Jim from Taxi. He's become the leader of the free world. Remember that with all the video? It's funny. It's telling you what's up. Yeah. This is how you rule the free world. You have a virtual presence in all your enemies' rooms. Like Captain Kirk with Barbara Luna and Spock? Okay. God damn, they're dumb. I know. Trust me, I know. Aneurysm button. They're nuts. Okay, yeah, they're crazy. Okay. Drugs and other ways to kill people, just instantaneous like that, with cameras in every room, and they feel so powerful, they feel invincible, and they can clone themselves. And when the clones get killed, they put their brain on a robot, and their brain is better than everybody else, and they got the bowling ball, and the coin is still in your pocket, right? Coin. Damn, we're getting spoiled by the Scooby-Doo, the gang again. Right, okay, guys, I love you very much. Okay. Yahooies. Okay, peace out, man. Don't be the solution to the problem. Reflect the truth of your creation and honor that truth, and then you won't have any problems you need to be the solution for. You will just be the love that reflects eternally, that maintains the truth of the laws of your creation. Okay. Doobie-doobie-doo-doo, Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Okay, love you.